In this podcast episode with Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, a leading neuroscientist and psychologist, the personal and elusive nature of emotions is unpacked with remarkable clarity and nuance. The discussion challenges conventional understandings about what emotions are, how uniquely we experience them, and how the brain constructs our emotional lives. Dr. Barrett begins by addressing a fundamental question: how uniform or variable are emotional experiences both within an individual and between different people. She points out that even the same emotion, such as joy or anger, never presents identically across different occasions for the same person, let alone across different individuals. Emotions do not describe single fixed experiences. Rather, they are categories encompassing a population of variable instances influenced by context. For example, anger can manifest as pleasant or unpleasant, energizing or depleting, and may be expressed in a wide variety of facial and bodily actions, not simply the stereotypical scowl. This variability is not random, but patterned, suggesting that words like anger or joy actually label broad concepts built from multiple experiences stored in memory. Notably, Dr. Barrett emphasizes that our emotional vocabulary is linked to these concepts. Words serve as invitations to acquire knowledge, allowing individuals to carve finer distinctions within their emotional world. Having a richer conceptual repertoire enables a richer emotional life, but language itself is a tool rather than the essence of emotional richness. Delving deeper, Dr. Barrett explains how the brain makes sense of the continuous flood of signals arriving from both the external sensory world and internal bodily states. The brain operates inside a dark, silent box, receiving only indirect evidence, outcomes, or effects of what is happening in the body and environment, never the causes themselves. A fundamental, inverse problem that requires constant prediction and inference. Rather than passively reacting to stimuli, the brain is primarily in the business of preparing action plans based on prior experience. These motor plans generate predictions about forthcoming sensations, essentially shaping perception through anticipatory mechanisms. Sensation and perception are thus fundamentally intertwined with action preparation. The meaning attributed to sensory input, what it demands metabolically and functionally from the body, is the cornerstone of emotional experience. Meaning emerges relationally. It depends on the brain's history, context, and goals, rather than existing intrinsically in the raw signals themselves. For instance, the color red is not an objective property of light, but arises from the interaction of light wavelengths with the specific receptors in one's eyes and brain. This example serves to illustrate how objective reality, as commonly conceived, is actually a human-centric experience shaped by biology and prediction. Acknowledging the profound philosophical implications, Dr. Barrett reflects on whether there is an objective reality independent of perception and cognition. While traditional realism posits an external reality apart from subjective experience, idealism argues reality is in some sense all in your head. She proposes a middle ground. Reality is relational and co-created by the brain and body, real in interaction but not accessible purely as an objective entity. In emotional terms, this means our interpretations of others' facial expressions or bodily cues are always probabilistic guesses informed by past experience, not direct readings of fixed emotional states. Such interpretations vary widely across cultures and individuals. This relational view also underscores why two people might experience the same emotion like joy differently due to their unique histories and bodily contexts. The brain's predictions about current experience rely heavily on past memories, electrochemical patterns recreated to fit present sensory inputs and bodily signals. Every moment of conscious or unconscious experience is thus a blend of remembered past and immediate sensations. This blending explains why emotions feel so transient and variable, shaped as they are by the brain's continuous forecasting and recreation of experience. Interestingly, memories are not static files, but dynamic, reconstructed patterns involving many neurons. The capacity to form new neurons is severely limited in most parts of the adult brain, helping explain why old emotional associations and memories persist strongly even when we acquire new experiences. Old emotional meanings are rarely overwritten but coexist, making emotional change possible but challenging. Dr. Barrett highlights the complex relationship between agency and emotion. While emotions often feel automatic and overwhelming, understanding the brain's predictive and conceptual nature offers new possibilities for influence. However, this agency is neither absolute nor simple. Changing one's emotional experience requires patience, deliberate cultivation of new experiences, and often altering contexts rather than mere willpower or relabeling of emotions. She uses vivid examples, from reframing test anxiety as determination to strategic focus shifts, to show how the meanings we embody shape our motor plans and thereby our felt experience. Importantly, the process is gradual, requiring sustained effort and practice to wire new predictive frameworks into the brain's machinery. When turning to anxiety, a prevalent emotion in today's world, Dr. Barrett offers a reframing. Anxiety arises from uncertainty combined with heightened physiological arousal. The brain struggles to select a single motor plan when it faces many possibilities without clear information, resulting in a state often labeled as anxiety. Modern life, with its myriad sources of uncertainty and metabolic demand, from poor sleep and diet to social and political instability, and even subtle environmental factors like elevated carbon dioxide, creates a nearly perfect storm for chronic stress and anxiety. The continual exposure to stress alters physiological systems, including hormone regulation, diminishing the body's ability to respond adaptively and eventually undermining health. A particularly powerful dimension of emotional life is the impact of social connection, or its absence. Dr. Barrett stresses humans are inherently social creatures designed to regulate nervous systems in part through relationships. Both loneliness and toxic social interactions profoundly impact emotional and physical health, exacerbating stress responses and metabolic disruption. She discusses how chronic social stress, such as sustained conflict or abuse, can have long-lasting adverse effects on the body's metabolic and immune systems. Conversely, feeling connected and having reliable social support can cushion against such burdens, underscoring the critical role of community in emotional well-being. For those recovering from chronic stress or emotional upheaval, Dr. Barrett emphasizes foundational self-care, sufficient restful sleep, healthy nutrition, light physical activity like walking, and gentle self-compassion. Changing contexts, either external environments or internal attentional focus, can help break cycles of rumination and intrusive thoughts. She cautions against simplistic notions of willpower, pointing to habits and automatic brain predictions as powerful forces shaping our feelings and behaviors. The pathway to change requires intentional, sustained engagement and often support, not just from oneself, but potentially from others or medical interventions. The conversation culminates in a reflection on responsibility for our emotional lives. While recognizing the biological and predictive underpinnings that limit immediate control, Dr. Barrett affirms that individuals hold more agency than they might believe. This comes with both responsibility and pressure. However, responsibility is not blame. Rather, it is a call to recognize that we are often the best agents of change in our lives, even if that process is slow, imperfect, and uneven. Support from others, including therapists, medication, or community, often plays a crucial role in enabling this agency. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett's exploration of the secret life of emotions reveals them as dynamic, constructed phenomena emerging from the brain's continuous interplay between bodily sensations, past experiences, and predictions about the future. Emotions are neither fixed states nor purely subjective illusions, but relational realities shaped by biology, context, and culture. Her insights offer a realistic framework. While emotions cannot simply be switched off, they can be understood, steered, and gently reshaped through knowledge, practice, and care. In a world rife with uncertainty and stress, cultivating emotional flexibility and meaningful connections emerges as a vital path toward mental and physical well-being.